Close your eyes and travel back to a time before the maps were drawn. Imagine a world where massive stones were moved by unknown hands, and cities flourished where today there is only sand. Tonight, we journey into the silent corners of our past, to the mysteries that history cannot yet explain. Hello and welcome back to Silent History. Tonight we have prepared a special, long-form journey of deep immersion into the world's most enduring archaeological enigmas. Whether you are settling in for a night of rest or simply looking to disconnect from the modern world, I invite you to get comfortable. Tonight, we aren't looking for quick answers or dramatic theories. Instead, we will sit with the questions. We will explore the 12,000-year-old pillars of Göbekli Tepe, the impossible precision of the stones at Sacsayhuman, and the silent, underwater ruins of the Yonaguni Monument. The pace tonight will be slow. The tone will be quiet. We are here to learn, to wonder, and eventually to sleep. Let the weight of the day fade away as we step into the shadows of the ancient world. Take a slow breath, and as you exhale, let your mind settle gently into the quiet landscape of the ancient world. The air grows softer. The noises around you fade. A calm darkness begins to unfold like a velvet curtain, drawing you into a time long before memory, long before writing, long before cities, long before the world resembled anything you know today. Tonight, you are walking toward a hill in southeastern Turkey. A hill that kept a secret buried under layers of earth for more than 12,000 years. A place that waited patiently for the world to rediscover it. A place that has changed our understanding of human history so deeply that even now, historians speak of it with quiet awe. Imagine the land around you as dawn begins to rise. Rolling limestone hills stretch into the distance. Dry grasses sway softly in the morning breeze. A few scattered shrubs grow stubbornly from the pale earth. The air is cool, carrying the clean scent of untouched nature. There is nothing here that suggests the presence of a monument. No towering stones visible from afar. No carved walls or columns breaking the horizon. Only a hill, but beneath this quiet, unremarkable mound lies Göbekli Tepe, a site older than the pyramids, older than Stonehenge, older even than the idea of farming. Pause for a moment. Let the weight of that thought settle into your breath. 12,000 years ago. It is almost impossible to imagine a world so ancient, and yet here you stand, pulling the curtain of time aside with each slow step. As you approach the excavation site, the earth opens up in soft, circular shapes. Sunlight touches tall, T-shaped pillars rising from deep pits in the ground. Their surfaces are smooth, pale, and cool. Some are carved with images of foxes, scorpions, snakes, vultures, animals with meanings long forgotten, symbols carved with such confidence it feels as though the stone itself once breathed. Lean closer. Imagine the fingertips that carved these shapes, hands that held stone tools, hands that followed lines and patterns learned through generations, hands that belonged to people who had no writing, no pottery, no metal, yet somehow possessed enough organization, vision, and artistry to build the world's first known monumental structure. These people were hunter-gatherers, nomads, travelers. According to our old understanding of history, they should not have been able to build anything like this. Monumental architecture, we thought, belonged to later civilizations, people with farms, cities, governments. But Göbekli Tepe stands quietly in the dawnlight and whispers, "You were wrong." Imagine yourself walking between the pillars. The floor beneath your feet is cool sand and stone. Above you, the sky stretches wide, painted in soft pinks and pale blues. The pillars around you tower like silent guardians, their shapes resembling stylized human forms, broad shoulders, narrow waists, carved arms folding gently down the sides. Some of them weigh 10 tons, some twice that, and yet the builders transported them from quarries kilometers away, with no wheels, no beasts of burden, only human strength and a shared sense of purpose. Let your breath slow as you picture the immense effort it took. Hundreds of people working together, stone tools striking limestone with rhythmic taps, ropes creaking under tension, teams pushing and pulling heavy blocks, torches flickering in the night during rituals of placement and celebration. What belief drove them? What story? What tradition? What dream? No one knows, and that is what makes this place so powerful. Göbekli Tepe was not a settlement. There were no houses here, no hearths, no signs of daily life. This was a place people traveled to, maybe from miles away, a place of gathering, a place of ceremony, a place of connection. Imagine families walking for days or weeks, following ancient trails across plains and hills, carrying offerings of animal skins, carved stones, wild grain. They approach the hill with reverence. Fires glow in the night, voices rise in low chants, shadows move among the pillars. The stars above shine unchanged, yet understood in ways we no longer remember. Some researchers believe the circles of pillars may have been aligned with constellations. Others see mythological scenes carved into the stone. Others believe these circles represent a spiritual world, a place where the living honored the dead, or where shamans guided the community through rituals. Imagine the wind brushing softly through the site as torches cast trembling light across the carvings. The atmosphere is sacred, focused, ancient. You feel a presence, not supernatural but deeply human, a connection to minds long gone, yet alive through the stones they shaped. Feel the age here, as if time moves slower, as if the earth breathes deep and steady, as if the stones are listening. Now imagine archaeologists uncovering this place thousands of years later, brushes removing dust from carvings, hands lifting tools that fell from human fingers millennia ago. The first glimpse of a carved fox, a snaky, a vulture, after spending 12,000 years in darkness. But Göbekli Tepe hides one more mystery. After centuries of use, the builders filled in the entire site deliberately, carefully, respectfully. They buried their own monument under tons of earth and debris. They sealed it, like closing the final page of a sacred book. And then they walked away. Why, no one knows. Perhaps new beliefs replaced old ones. Perhaps the community changed. Perhaps they were honoring the site by protecting it. All we know is that their choice preserved Göbekli Tepe perfectly, allowing us to see it today almost as it was when torches last lit its stones. Take a moment to stand at the edge of a circular enclosure. Look down at the pillars. Feel how ancient they are. Let the silence settle around you. Let the mystery fill your imagination gently, like a slow tide rising in soft moonlight. Imagine the site under the stars 12,000 years ago, voices chanting, fires crackling, shadows dancing along the carved animals, a moment of humanity opening its mind to something greater than survival. And now imagine the same site today, quiet, exposed to warm sunlight, visited by curious minds from across the world. The past and present overlap, two worlds separated by time yet connected through stone. Let the scene fade slowly, softly, like a memory dissolving into mist. Feel the calm Göbekli Tepe has brought you, a calm rooted in ancient wonder, in human creativity, in the deep, timeless story of our species. As you take a gentle breath, prepare to leave these ancient pillars behind and journey onward, toward the next mystery waiting in the silent depths of the sea. Take a deep, soft breath, and let the last memory of ancient stones fade gently behind you. The world around you becomes quiet once again, like a long, slow exhale from the earth itself. As the wind of Göbekli Tepe dissolves into stillness, we begin drifting toward a new mystery, one shaped not by stone alone, but by water. Tonight we travel into realms that no longer exist on land, places swallowed by the sea, gently resting beneath waves that rise and fall with the patience of time. Our path leads first to a forgotten world, once stretching between Britain and Europe, and then to a sculpted underwater landscape far to the east, where the ocean hides forms so sharp and geometric that they seem carved by ancient hands. Close your eyes for a moment. Let the air around you become cooler, heavier, filled with the quiet pressure of the deep. Imagine a slow descent through shifting blue light, guided only by curiosity, and a soft whisper of the ancient world calling you forward. With every breath, you sink into the calmness of the water, deeper and deeper, until the noise of the modern world fades completely. What you are about to see are the memories of worlds lost to time, one drowned by rising seas, the other resting beneath the Pacific like a riddle carved into the seafloor. Thousands of years ago, the world looked very different. Sea levels were far lower. Britain was not an island. The North Sea did not exist as we know it. Instead, stretching from modern England to the Netherlands and beyond was a vast green landscape, rolling hills, forests, rivers. Imagine standing on a soft grassy plain. A gentle fog hangs low as the morning sun rises. Herds of red deer graze across wide meadows. Woolly mammoths, massive calm, majestic, move slowly through shallow marshes. Families gather near the banks of winding rivers, weaving baskets from reeds, carving tools from antler, and cooking fish over small fires. Children laugh as they splash in warm, shallow lakes that today lie beneath hundreds of feet of cold, shifting water, footprints left in wet earth dry in the sun, unaware that one day the sea will claim everything. Doggerland was not empty. It was vibrant, thriving, full of life and human stories. Archaeologists believe tens of thousands of people live there, hunter-gatherers, craftsmen, families, elders. A small fishing area becoming deeper, a meadow turning to marsh, water creeping into places where it had never been before. Generations passed, and each saw the water a little higher, but life continued. Then, gradually, the land grew smaller. Settlements needed to move inland. Forests vanished beneath muddy waves. Hills shrank into islands. The rising tide didn't rush, it moved with patience, swallowing the land inch by inch, year by year, generation after generation. And yet people stayed. They returned to fishing spots that became lakes. They adapted to new coastlines. They lingered in the places their ancestors cherished. Because leaving home, even when it's sinking, is never easy. Imagine the sound of a quiet night thousands of years ago. Families sit around a fire, listening to the distant roar of the tide. Elders tell stories explaining the rising waters, maybe spirits, maybe the will of nature, maybe simply part of life. Children fall asleep wrapped in hides, dreaming under stars that hang low and brilliant. And far away, the sea continues to rise. Eventually, the day came when the last high ground slipped beneath the waves. The final settlements disappeared. The land where mammoths once walked became the floor of the North Sea. But memory left behind fragments, tools, bones, pieces of ancient forests that fishermen still pull from the deep. Each object is a whisper from a world drowned in silence. Let that image linger softly in your mind. Green plains buried beneath gentle waves, an entire world sleeping in the quiet dark, a reminder that land itself is not permanent. As we glide slowly east across oceans and continents until the water warms, the current lightens, and the deep turquoise of the Pacific begins to shimmer through the haze. Far south of Japan lies a remote island, Unaguni. Its coasts are rough, its winds strong, its sea full of shifting currents. But beneath those waves lies something extraordinary, something that has puzzled divers, geologists, and archaeologists for decades. Imagine yourself sinking slowly through the clear water, light rippling over your hands. The ocean floor appears below, then suddenly, out of the blue, immense geometric shapes rise from the depths. Terraces, steps, sharp right angles, flat walls, carved corners. It looks almost like a sunken pyramid, or an underwater stadium, or the remains of an ancient city swallowed by time. The Unaguni Monument. Approach it gently. Feel the water cool your skin. Watch the sunlight cut across the stone in slow, shimmering bands. The structure rises like a great staircase, each step wide and perfectly flat, each edge cutting sharply through the water as though shaped by intent. You float closer. Your hand glides along the edge of a large terrace. The angles are startlingly precise. Some look like walkways. Some resemble platforms. Others curve into what look like corridors or ceremonial spaces. A triangular notch here, a rectangular pit there. Features that seem too structured, too organized, too architectural to be natural. Yet many geologists insist it is natural, a quirk of sandstone fracturing, shaped by tectonic movement and centuries of erosion. Sandstone often breaks in straight lines. Earthquakes carve layers, currents polish corners. Time sculpts shapes that seem intentional but are born of pressure and patience. But divers who have mapped every inch of the monument disagree. They see patterns, too regular, too symmetrical. They see features resembling roads, retaining walls, steps that rise with deliberate rhythm. Some claim faint carvings grace the stone, worn so heavily by the ocean that only the imagination can trace them. What if this is not nature alone? What if someone shaped it? And if so, who and when? If the monument is man-made, then it must have been carved when sea levels were far lower, over 10,000 years ago. That would place it in a time long before recorded Japanese history, long before pyramids, long before the rise of most known civilizations. Imagine that same structure above water, the sun rising across its broad steps, priests or elders climbing its platforms, children running across its stone floors, rituals performed under clear skies. A community thriving near these monoliths that watched over the island like guardians. And then, slowly, century by century, the sea rose, first covering the lower terraces, then creeping up the walls, then submerging the highest ledges, until at last the entire structure slipped beneath the waves, leaving nothing behind but questions suspended in silence. Today, fish weave through its corridors, sea turtles drift lazily along its edges, soft currents brush against its stone, and divers moving slowly through the blue cannot help but feel the weight of mystery pressing gently around them. Is it the work of ancient hands, or the artistry of water and time? A forgotten civilization, or a natural marvel misread by human imagination? The ocean remains quiet, offering neither confirmation nor denial. But as we glide above the monument, watching the light shift and the shadows sway, one thing becomes clear. Both Doggerland and Yonaguni remind us that the earth changes, and with it, entire worlds vanish. They remind us that history is not a straight line. It is a tide moving back and forth, revealing and concealing, shaping and reshaping everything in its path. Let the calm of that thought settle softly into your breath. Let the drowned plains and sunken steps drift gently through your imagination. Let the ancient silence of these submerged worlds become part of your own quiet tonight. Take a long, gentle breath and let the underwater terraces of Yonaguni drift softly out of view. The cool blue begins to fade, rising slowly toward the warmth of sunlight above. You emerge from the depths with calm lungs and a quiet mind, and once more your feet find solid ground beneath you. The sea sighs behind you, retreating like a memory. Ahead the world opens again, vast, ancient, filled with landscapes carved not by water, but by human hands that shaped stones so immense that even today, the modern world looks at them with a mixture of disbelief and awe. Your journey now carries you into two places where stone becomes something more than material. Stone becomes ambition. Stone becomes engineering. Stone becomes a language once spoken by civilizations long gone, a language written not in ink, but in mountains carved by human will. Imagine yourself stepping onto a high plateau in Lebanon, where the golden light of afternoon washes across a landscape of ancient ruins. The air is warm but gentle. A soft wind stirs dust and distant scents of cedar forests. Before you, rising with a kind of silent majesty, stands the great temple complex of Baalbek. Massive columns, broken by time yet still towering, cast long shadows. But these ruins, impressive as they are only the beginning. Beneath them lies something far older, far heavier, and far more mysterious. As you walk closer, imagine approaching a wall built of 3 enormous stones, each one weighing around 800 tons. Their surfaces are weathered, but their lines remain sharp, precise. They sit so perfectly aligned that even a whisper of air can barely pass between them. You tilt your head back, letting your eyes travel across their towering height. These stones are the legendary trilithon. Take a moment, let the scale wash over you. Imagine a stone so heavy that modern cranes strain to lift even half its weight. Now imagine not 1 but 3, placed with seamless accuracy side by side, thousands of years ago. Feel your breath soften as you try to picture the minds that dared to work with materials of such incredible scale. Imagine the strength, the planning, the vision it took to quarry, transport, and position stones this large without the machines we rely on today. And yet here they stand. Now imagine walking around the site, feeling the warmth of the stone beneath your fingertips. Every surface holds the quiet imprint of human determination. Above these megaliths rise the remains of the Roman Temple of Jupiter, majestic ruins built by master engineers of a powerful empire. But even the Romans, with all their skill, chose not to attempt moving such colossal blocks. Instead, they built atop a platform that was already ancient in their time. This alone suggests a remarkable truth. The builders of this foundation belonged to a civilization with knowledge and ambition on a scale we still struggle to understand. As you climb a gentle slope toward the quarry nearby, the air grows stiller. There, half buried in earth, lies an even more staggering stone, the stone of the pregnant woman. Its gigantism is almost unreal. It weighs over 1,000 tons, maybe more, and deeper still, discovered only recently, lies another stone weighing nearly 650 tons, one of the largest stones ever cut by human hands. Close your eyes for a moment and picture ancient workers carving these monoliths. Hear the steady rhythm of tools against limestone. See long ropes pulled by dozens, maybe hundreds of people working together. Feel the dust rising in the sunlit air. Every moment of this labor was a testament to human will, patience, and unity. And yet these massive stones never reach their intended destination. They remain in the quarry like dreams frozen in time, quiet, unmoved, waiting. Now imagine the sun lowering behind the hills, turning the whole plateau golden. The great stones cast enormous shadows that stretch across the earth. The evening grows cooler. The sky deepens to a rich, endless blue. Somewhere in the distance, you might hear the faint call of a bird or the wind brushing across the ruins. Standing here in the twilight of Baalbek, you feel the presence of a past that still breathes through stone. A past that doesn't shout its secrets, but whispers them softly, waiting for us to listen. Let that whisper fade gently, and now imagine yourself traveling far across the world, beyond deserts, beyond oceans, rising into the cool, thin air of the Andes. The world around you transforms. The breeze becomes sharper, carrying the scent of mountain grasses. Clouds drift low, brushing the jagged peaks, and nestled above the ancient city of Cusco, resting proudly on a high ridge, is the breathtaking site of Sacsayhuaman. Picture yourself walking toward its walls, where massive stones rise in dramatic zigzag patterns. These blocks are enormous, some as tall as houses, some weighing over 100 tons. Yet they fit together with absolute precision. No mortar, no gaps, no misalignments. Run your hand along the surface of one block. Feel the gentle curves, the soft, rounded lines carved with deliberate intention. Each stone has edges that twist and turn in ways that make it seem alive, as if the wall itself breathes with the mountains. Step back and observe the pattern. It looks like a lightning bolt frozen in midair, a deliberate design, bold and striking. These walls were built to withstand earthquakes, shifting under pressure rather than cracking. The builders understood that strength comes not from resisting movement, but from flowing with it. Their engineering remains so advanced that even modern architects marvel at it. Take a slow breath. The air is thin but refreshing. Imagine the site as it once was, alive with music, movement, and ceremony. Picture processions moving across the great plaza below. Hear the sound of drums echoing off the stones. See bright garments fluttering in the wind. Smell burning herbs carried upward in tall spirals of smoke. This was not merely a fortress. It was a sacred place, a gathering of energy, a living heart of Inca civilization. Imagine the builders shaping each stone with meticulous care. With tools far less advanced than ours, they achieved perfection that still feels almost magical today. How did they move such enormous stones up steep mountain roads? How did they position them so precisely? How did they carve them so smoothly that even a modern blade cannot slide between them? No one fully knows, and that mystery is part of the beauty. Walk slowly along the walls as the sun begins to set. The light softens, brushing the stones with a warm, golden glow. The shadows lengthen, stretching across the ground like the memories of ancient footsteps. The sound of the wind becomes calmer, gentler, as if paying respect to the silence of this extraordinary place. High above Cusco, with mountains rising in every direction, Sacsayhuaman feels eternal. Let your breath fall into rhythm with the quiet around you. Feel the strength of the stone, the steadiness of the earth, the calm of ancient craftsmanship holding solid through centuries of change. Now gently bring Baalbek back into your imagination and let it settle beside Sacsayhuaman. Though they are continents apart, built by cultures separated by oceans and millennia, they share something profound, a mastery of stone that transcends time. The giant blocks of Lebanon, the interlocking walls of Peru, two different worlds connected by the same human spirit, a desire to build something lasting, something magnificent, something that speaks across the ages. As night falls across both sites, imagine them under the same stars, silent, steady, breathing ancient stories. The impossible stones of Baalbek and Sacsayhuaman remind us of what humanity is capable of. They remind us that mystery is not something to be feared, but something to be cherished, respected, held gently, like a secret passed from one generation to the next. Let the stones fade now, slowly, softly, as the mountains and plains dissolve into darkness. Feel yourself settling deeper into calm, ready to journey once more into the ancient world whenever you choose. Take a slow breath and let the great stones of Baalbek and the high mountain walls of Sacsayhuaman dissolve gently into the background of your mind. Feel the wind of the Andes soften, feel the warm light of Lebanon fade, and allow the world around you to become quiet once more. Wrapped in centuries of silence and the gentle weight of time, tonight, you will drift toward one of the most extraordinary treasures ever discovered, not because of its size, but because of the intelligence locked inside it. A device so delicate, so precise, so impossibly advanced. The air warm and still, and beneath the gentle waves lies a shipwreck, sleeping undisturbed for nearly 2,000 years. Let your breath slow as we sink down through the water. The light fades into shimmering green. Shapes blur and soften. The seafloor emerges gently as if rising to greet you. This is where the story begins. In the year 1900, a group of Greek sponge divers sought shelter from rough weather near the island of Antikythera. To pass the time, they entered the deep wearing heavy copper helmets, thick suits, and lifelines connecting them to the world above. One diver descended and came face to face with what he believed were bodies, lifeless forms scattered across the seafloor. But they were not bodies. They were statues, bronze and marble figures from a long-lost era, lying silent and still beneath layers of coral and time. Among the cargo of this ancient shipwreck was a small, corroded lump of bronze and wood, so weathered, so fragile that at first it seemed like nothing of importance. No one knew that inside that crumbled mass was the heart of a machine unlike anything ever seen before. Travel deeper into the scene. Imagine divers carefully lifting the broken object, unaware that they are holding one of humanity's greatest scientific secrets. For years it sat quietly in the museum, a puzzle waiting patiently for someone to notice. And finally someone did. A scholar studying the fragments paused, leaned closer, and saw something unbelievable: tiny bronze gear teeth, arranged with incredible precision. A mechanism, a machine, a device far more complex than anything known from that era. Now imagine holding one of the fragments in your hand. It is rough, cold, covered in green corrosion from centuries beneath the sea. But inside, beneath the surface, lies a delicate arrangement of gears, teeth cut so finely they almost look modern. The more scholars studied it, the more extraordinary it became. This ancient machine once had over 30 interlocking gears, gears arranged in a way that mirrored the patterns of the heavens. Let yourself picture a craftsman 2,000 years ago, standing in a quiet workshop lit by oil lamps. The air is warm, the scent of bronze dust and olive oil drifts through the space. He bends over his work, carving gear teeth with incredible patience, aligning wheels and axles with perfect accuracy. He knows the machine must work flawlessly. He knows each piece must reflect the dance of the cosmos. He is not simply building a device. He is translating the sky into metal. Imagine turning the crank on the side of this mechanism. Feel how smoothly the gears would have rotated, how gracefully the dials would have moved, how beautifully the machine would have mirrored the motions of the sun, the moon and the stars. The device could track the lunar cycle, predict eclipses, follow the motion of planets, display the calendar, and even mark the years of ancient athletic games like the Olympics. This was not a toy, not a curiosity, not a simple tool. It was an analog computer, 2,000 years before such technology reappeared. Imagine a scholar in ancient Greece looking up at the night sky. The moon glows softly. Stars shimmer in crystalline air. He notes their positions, calculates their patterns, studies their rhythms. Then, leaning over his machine, he turns the crank. The gears follow the motion of the heavens with precision. The dials align with constellations. The phases of the moon move in harmony with the calculations. In that moment, the line between science and art disappears. The universe becomes mechanical, predictable, beautiful. Let yourself drift deeper into the past. Imagine astronomers using this machine to teach students about the cosmos. Imagine sailors using it to calculate time and guide their journeys. Imagine priests using it to predict eclipses for important rituals. And then imagine it being packed aboard a ship, carefully, lovingly, as part of a cargo of treasures traveling across the ancient world. A storm rises, waves crash. The ship groans under the weight of the sea. It is pulled beneath the surface, sinking slowly, silently into darkness. The machine rests there, quiet, unmoving like a heart stopped mid-beat. Now, picture modern researchers surrounding the fragments with bright lights, magnifying lenses, and X-ray machines. Layer by layer, the secrets begin to unfold. Inscriptions appear, ancient Greek text etched with the delicacy of a jeweler's hand. Numbers and symbols come to life. It is as if a whisper from the past finally finds a voice again. The machine reveals itself, a model of the sky, a map of celestial cycles, a tool for predicting eclipses with uncanny precision, a mechanism that reproduces the moon's irregular orbit through clever gearing so advanced that even modern engineers marvel at it. Take a soft breath and let the magnitude of that sink in. 2,000 years ago, someone built a device of staggering complexity, and then it vanished into the sea, waiting patiently to be found. This mechanism reminds us that the ancient world was not primitive. It was brilliant, curious, inventive. Human ingenuity has always been powerful, not just now, but throughout all of history. Picture the device once more, small enough to hold, but vast in intellect. A piece of the cosmos captured in metal. Now, let the image fade slowly. Imagine lowering the mechanism back into the deep, placing it gently on the seafloor of your mind. Water closes over it, light dims, the quiet returns. The gears slow, then stop and sleep again. But the wonder remains with you, calm, silent, drifting softly like the tide. Take one last slow breath and allow all the ancient worlds we visited tonight to settle gently in your mind. And descended quietly into the calm blue of forgotten seas. And now, as the journey comes to its soft close, let every moment begin to fade into a warm, tranquil memory. Let your body relax, letting go of any tension still holding on. Let your breathing become slow and effortless. And let your mind drift lightly over each of the places we wandered through together. Remember the silent pillars of a world older than agriculture, older than cities, older than almost everything we call civilization. Imagine them standing under starlight, still as time, carrying stories carved by hands we will never know. Remember the drowned plains of Doggerland, once full of life and laughter and running feet, now resting beneath the gentle folds of an endless sea, a world lost slowly, swallowed not by violence but by the steady, patient rising of water that changed the shape of Europe forever. Let Yonaguni drift back into view, the sharp steps, the geometric corners, the silent puzzles sleeping on the seafloor. A place where nature and human imagination meet, and where the line between the two blurs just enough to let mystery breathe comfortably. Let the great stones of Baalbek return for a moment, impossibly heavy, perfectly cut, and resting exactly where ancient engineers placed them with a confidence we can barely understand. Walk your mind again along their edges, feel their immovable presence, and sense the ambition they still hold. And then remember the high walls of Sacsayhuaman, curved stones fitted together so precisely, so lovingly, so intelligently, that they still stand firm against the trembling earth beneath them. Feel the cool Andean air around you again. Hear the soft whistle of wind through open plazas, and let that sense of ancient craftsmanship melt gently into your thoughts. And finally, let the bronze gears of the Antikythera mechanism turn once more in your imagination, small, delicate, intricate wheels that captured the movements of the heavens. A device handcrafted with astonishing brilliance, lost to the sea, then rediscovered like a treasure sent across the centuries to remind us of the endless capacity of the human mind. As each memory drifts softly around you, allow yourself to feel a sense of deep connection, not just to history, but to every human who came before you. People who built, who dreamed, who observed the sky, who shaped mountains and oceans, who left behind echoes of themselves in stone, in metal, in mystery. These ancient minds were curious, creative, humble before nature, yet bold in their ambition, and you, listening now, share that same human spark, the spark that wonders, imagines, questions, and seeks meaning. As the weight of the day slips away, let these stories surround you like a warm blanket of quiet wonder. Feel your breath slowing. Feel your shoulders sinking softly. Feel the rhythm of calm settling deeper with each passing moment. You have traveled through time tonight, far deeper and farther than any ordinary journey. You have touched worlds no longer visible, walked across lands that no longer exist, and stood before stones that refuse to move even after thousands of years. You have drifted through ancient silence and let it steady your thoughts. If this journey brought you peace, if it helped ease your mind, if it carried you gently toward rest, then I invite you, whenever you feel the need, to return. There are countless stories still waiting, lost cities, forgotten empires, unexplained artifacts, and the quiet poetry of the ancient world. And when you feel ready, if your eyes are still open, consider supporting this sanctuary of calm exploration. Subscribing, tapping the notification bell, or sharing this journey with someone who might need a moment of peace. Each small action helps keep these soft, slow stories alive. But there is no pressure, only an invitation, only a quiet reminder that this space exists for you. Whenever the noise of the world becomes heavy, whenever your mind needs rest, whenever your heart needs stillness. For now, let the echoes of the ancient world fade into a gentle hush. Let the deep calm you feel begin to expand softly through your body. Let your thoughts drift like falling leaves. Let sleep come naturally, without effort. You are safe. You are calm. You are drifting. The history of the world is long, and tomorrow it will still be there, waiting patiently for you to wake. So close your eyes, breathe softly, and let the mysteries of the past become the dreams of the present. Good night, and sleep well.